Hi everyone. So I'm going to walk you through how to run a one-way ANOVA, including the testing of the assumptions, and also the uh, post hoc analyses. And so I'm going to start off in just this is the data set that we worked through in class. It has church branch, gender, stress, gratitude, diastolic blood pressure. I'm going to work through the question we had in class, which was, is the church branch you belong to, is the mean of those in the particular church branches different on levels of stress? Are people in particular church branches experiencing different levels of stress? And so the first starting point is going to be the assumptions. The first assumption is the random sampling, so we're going to assume that was met. The second is the measurement scale, and we're going to have an independent variable church branch. You could see it here that it is has round circles, so that indicates it's nominal, and you can read there that it is nominal. And then we have stress, and that's a scale variable. It's a rating scale. So we met that second assumption. The third assumption is the normality. Is this variable normally distributed? Is stress normally distributed? To test that, I'm going to go to descriptive statistics, and I'm going to run descriptives, and I'm going to move stress over here. So there's an additional step I need to take, which is to click here to ask for the skewness and kurtosis. So I'm going to do that, and then click OK. And we see here that, well, it gives us all the descriptive statistics, but the ones we're most interested are this number here. The skewness statistic is 0.04, and the kurtosis statistic is 0.10. So we have a normally distributed variable. Stress is normally distributed. It has almost no skew, almost no kurtosis, and so we are good on this assumption of normality. It's between -1 and 1. All right, now coming back, we have another assumption, but the fourth assumption is the equality of variance. But this one, you actually have to run the one-way ANOVA to obtain this. So I'm going to run the one-way ANOVA, and again, my factor is church branch, and the dependent variable is stress. And I'm going to, because I want the equality of variance test run, I'm going to click on options, and I'm going to click on homogeneity of variance. All right, and then I will click continue. And then I will click on, well, because we know we may need it, I'm going to click on the Chaffee post hoc analysis, kind of do it all in once. All right, so I'm going to click OK, and that's going to run our analysis here. So first off, up here, we have our test of homogeneity of variances, and we look at this line here based upon the mean. We see here that the p-value is 0.59, and so we are going to conclude that the assumption of homogeneity of variance is met. Because it's greater than 0.05, we can say that this is not a violation of the homogeneity of variance. We can assume that the variance between the different groups is close enough to really say that they are equivalent. Okay, so this here is our fourth assumption, so it means that we can go down to the ANOVA and look at it. And our one-way ANOVA, we see here, it provides the F right here, 11.12. It provides the DF as 5 and 1023, because the F test has 2 degrees of freedom. So DF1 or DF between groups is 5, and DF2 or DF within groups is 1023. So this is a large sample, over 1,000 people. And that result, the differences in the means, suggests that there is a difference among the means, that they're not all equal. And we see here a p-value of less than 0.001. So then the next question is, where is that difference occurring? Now, to obtain that, you have to run a post-hoc test. And I've already run this. It's the Scheffé. And so there's two ways to find the individual differences. One way is to look at the significance and find the p-values that are less than 0.05. But an easier way is to look here for the asterisk. This indicates that there's a significant effect. So we could see there's a significant difference between mainline and charismatic, between evangelical and other Christian, between charismatic and mainline, charismatic and Catholic, and charismatic and other Christian. And notice that I said charismatic and mainline. We had already covered that one because it was mainline and charismatic, and so this is just a duplicate. And you can look down here. There's more that are significant, but again, these are actually repeated from up above, so they don't actually apply. All right, so yeah, that's it for the post hoc analysis. So I would report that we found significant differences between charismatic and mainline, charismatic and Catholic, charismatic and other Christian, and then also that we found a significant difference between evangelical and other Christian. Those were our 4 significant differences on this problem. Again, you'll see 8 asterisks, but 4 of those are duplicates. Okay, and there's one last thing that I skipped over, which was to test for the to find the mean and standard deviation for each group. So here, I know that there's a significant difference, but it would be helpful to just report what is the mean for the mainline Christians. What is the standard deviation for the mainline Christians? What's the mean and standard deviation for, well, for all of these, the evangelical, charismatic, Orthodox? And so you could find that by running analyze and then descriptive statistics and then explore. What explore does is it, I'll reset here, it groups together the descriptive statistics into particular groups or factors. And so my factor, just like a one-way ANOVA, is going to be church branch. And then my dependent variable is stress. And so you don't need to click anything over here. You can go ahead and just click OK. And then this will provide you with some values. The values for the mean for stress among the mainline Christians is 10.16. The standard deviation for the mainline Christians on stress is 2.627. Just to point out, sometimes people get confused. This number over here is the standard error. It's different from the standard deviation, so this is not what you're reporting. You're going to report this value, the mean and standard deviation, and that's for mainline, and then you're going to do the same for all the other groups, the mean and standard deviation for evangelical, mean and standard deviation for charismatic, and so on. So we have 6 groups, and I would recommend in your report just writing up that we calculated the descriptive statistics for the various groups, and they are reported as follows, where you put a colon, and then you put mainline, and then in parentheses mean standard deviation, and then evangelical, and you put in parentheses mean standard deviation. That just sort of sums it up pretty well, and so I might recommend doing something like that. Okay, well, I think that covers everything. Hopefully that's helpful, and good luck with your studying. All right.